So welcome to everybody. Thank you very much for participating in this DIGI ENE online event we call Exploring the Pedagogical Use of Artificial Intelligence. My name is Filippo Del Nino. I'm the coordinator of DIGI ENE, and together with our friends from STEPS and other ETF colleagues, we will facilitate today's session. It's going to be 1 hour and a half, and really hope you will find it interesting. It's not the first event of the DGN, so we'll not go through the details of what we have done. We have been active for a number of years, doing peer learning activities and focused capacity building action. Our focus is digital transformation of education. And as the name says, we are part of the bigger ETF network of excellence. Now, before introducing the agenda and what we're going to talk today, I would like to pass the floor to my colleague Yolene, who's in charge of ENE, to introduce some important changes and other new opportunities for the members of the ENE network.
Thank you, Filippo, and welcome everyone. Good to see you all here, as I think all of you are members of our ETF network for excellence. ENE, we call it ENE in short, exists now for 5 years, and I think we all know with networks people come and people leave. At the moment we have over 300 members, but we really like to keep it an active network, or let's say an active network with active members. So we have reached out to you with a request to reconfirm your membership, and many of you have replied. Some of you haven't yet reconfirmed the membership. This afternoon we will send out another reminder, and of course we hope to see you as well in future events. So we ask you to reconfirm the membership, and I will also show a second reason why we're doing this. Because we are creating an ENE atlas. I'm not sure which screen I'm sharing now. I'm sharing a screen.
Yes, you are
working. Yeah.
Here we will include all the centers that reconfirm their membership, and you see that it will help you also to find partners. So you can find all the centers there. You will be able to browse on country, on sectors, on areas of excellence and areas of interest. So we have at the moment 75 members who reconfirmed, and we really hope that more will follow. If you are here, but I think all of you are members, but if you are not an ENE member yet, we would really like to welcome you as ENE member. And in that case, we'll share an email in the chat, and you can write us if you're interested in joining the network. And we're planning to have an info session for potential new members in the beginning of 2026. So I wish you all a good webinar, and I hope to meet you in future events as well as ENE members.
Thank you very much, Yulin. I'll go quickly through the agenda. We have two main sessions today. The first one is the pedagogical use of AI in education. We'll have Alessandro Borpito, senior human capital development expert focused on digital education, presenting the ETF Teaching with AI Club. And then we have a keynote presentation from Gurt Gammelgarnissen from EdTech Denmark on the practical application of AI and the model they have developed called Chat Tutor. The second part of the webinar is called Unlocking Digital Transformation in Education, and we'll have 3 cases of best practice from Morocco, Serbia, and Bosnia on examples of how digital education has been introduced in their countries and in their institutions. We welcome any form of participation from your side, so feel free to write in the chat, feel free to ask questions, and I think it's time to start. So I pass the floor to Alessandro Proplito for the first session.
Thank you, Filippo. Let me see if I managed to share my screen. Please confirm that you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So thank you, Filippo, and I'm very glad to be here, given the topic. the pedagogical use of artificial intelligence. So in ETF, we have, as part of the community of innovative educators, a thematic groups of teachers that is focusing on the use of artificial intelligence. We actually takes two lenses, I would say. The first one is about the AI literacy for teachers and for students, and also the pedagogical use of AI in teaching and learning in general and vocational education. So it's really looking to the grassroots practices. So it's for teachers and with teachers. And of course, the idea is always to reflect on innovation and inclusion. And so to see how artificial intelligence can accelerate, I would say, let's say, aim to innovate our practice as a center of excellence, for example. What I wanted to highlight that this is started in 2024. So we just ended the second season of the club. And I would say it's quite successful because we are more than 400 members. Something that is always, for me, quite interesting to notice that we have more 50 countries. You know that ETF works in 28 partners, but we have participants from also from South America, United States, Australia. So it's really international, and this is good to really to understand from each other the practices of what we are trying to do with artificial intelligence to boost innovation, inclusion. And so, I mean, you may consider to join the club, and in this case, what you can expect from it on top of DIGI, and of course, that it's focusing on that. Here, it's, as I said, more broad, the scope, but for sure, this is a normal practice. We have always a project every season where we co-work, of course, on a voluntary basis. Some teachers are keen to participate, some others, they just prefer to have a more a listening approach. But for sure, we have produced, for example, guidelines together as a collective exercise. Of course, then maybe in the middle you find the main pillar, because we want to explore what are the grassroots practices. So based on our knowledge, based on the technology in a specific context for specific purposes, we look concretely how AI has supported this new pedagogy, let's say, or let's say to allow that something that is very known, such as personalization, some assessment based on more quantitative indicators. Okay, AI can work, but it's important to see in practical terms in a specific context how it works. And then, of course, we have a lot of discussion. We try always to have discussion with inviting teachers and experts. This is in a nutshell the journey of 2025. And I wanted just to highlight the topics. So we try really to dig in some pedagogical aspect. It's very controversial, the impact of AI, and we still have a little research, unfortunately, about the impact on creativity or in critical thinking. But we had one session dedicated to this topic with one expert really trying to understand how to use AI to foster, to scaffold our creativity rather than just replacing and offloading and delegating. Another point, for example, in May, we focused on a practice. We had a Finnish teacher that I met during my stay of this year in Finland at the Helsinki Business College. With Matti, we looked at how Matti was really working in practical terms, in concrete terms, with AI, with a student with special needs. It's incredible what he managed to do. And this is really something very, interesting. Then we look, of course, to the ethics. Personally, I think this is the most important challenge for in education for the use of AI. But we looked also in a session in July on well-being, the impact on our self-confidence and autonomy. We, in a way that we use AI, but we keep our autonomy in making decisions, in evaluating, in assessing the students' performance. So, and this is an example. You can scan the code, or perhaps a colleague can put the link into the chat. But this is the concrete outcome that we started in 2024 collectively with the members, and we continue in the season just finished in 2025. So we collected the really very practical elements about how the main component of the IT literacy for a teacher in particular, okay? And it also includes a toolkit for that institute and school to really say why we are using AI, what problem, educational problem we want to solve. In the end, so there is also a toolkit as part of this guide to really have a collective exercise and really try to have a clear strategy in education about the use of AI. So maybe identifying one issue that it's very difficult to solve, of course, and we want to explore how to solve it or make it better using AI. Just to highlight that we have been growing over the year, not just in terms of numbers, but also in terms of institutional partnership, because the club is actually, we are connected, we are other two very similar initiatives organized by the European Commission, and I'm referring to the European Digital Education Hub, and to another important initiative of UNESCO. I participated in September to the Digital Learning Week organized by UNESCO that was fully focused on artificial intelligence in education. And we really get in touch with the task force. So we have, so our three, I would say, complementary geographically, but thematically, we are really well connected. We have a participant of the ETF club going into the European Digital Education Hub and vice versa. So just to highlight what we are going to, let's say, cook for 2026. Of course, I would be very interested, Alison, to learn whether in DIGI ENE you would like to focus on specific aspect. Let me say, first of all, that we have a new season because we have a lot of requests. We have very positive indicators. So we want to continue. It's still, maybe someone say AI is a bubble and sooner or later it will explode. But we are definitely still in the bubble. And the potential of AI, it's really great, but also the risk. So we need really to be careful in education, but keeping working and reflecting on this. Some concrete ideas for 2026, I would say, we might look, for example, to one common element in all that college and institute that are the key competencies delivery. So we could, and we want to, key competence is mainly concept in Europe, we know, but it's a common challenge, I would say, globally. So the idea to give a foundation of competencies to all students, whether in general and vocational education. So we might focus on how to have an integrated approach on this. We may refer also to the ETF tools so that you may already come across like Scaffold or Forma for formative assessment, for example, formative assessment. So there is a lot of dialogue. And so it's important to see how AI may really structure a bit this dialogue. And so we might have also, want to define an output concerning let me recall this related event.
Technologia. Hij nog staat?
Okay.
Please mute the mic.
Okay, I'm finishing. So I wanted to highlight a call that might be for the DIGI ENE very interesting as well. So we are looking for good practices on key competence. Indeed, I was referring to key competence thinking to New Learning Award 2026. This is the QR code. And the deadline is quite soon. So if you want to present, have a look to the page, to the description, but it's about, let's say, innovative practices about the deliveries of key competence. We expect to receive also some proposal with AI. So that's why 2026, the club may focus on this and build on the practices that we receive. And this is to thank you and introduce briefly, let's say, the content coordinators. There is my colleague Fabio, that I'm sure you know, and myself, but there are content leaders. The other people in this picture are a content leader from Turkey, from Ukraine, and they help us to really organize and find the relevant content. Another announcement that we will have other 3 content leaders next year to better cover the geographical, let's say, area that we cover. And that's all. Thank you for your attention. Welcome your idea about the content. If you want to join, of course, you are very more than welcome. And I would pass back the floor to you, Filippo. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Ale. Thank you very much for this very interesting contribution. And I follow up on your invitation, really saying that it's very important for us to have as much members as we can, because I mean, we learn from best practices, we learn from you, and we distribute the knowledge that you create. I open the floor if somebody has specific questions to Alessandro. And in the meantime, I ask Roberto maybe to share the output that we have on AI, so that we may also have a direct look.
Yeah, this is the output that Alessandro just mentioned, and this is what we have been doing for the last 2 years, more or less.
Yeah, if you go back, Roberto, to the outline, just a second, while if there are questions, of course, we reply. But what I wanted to highlight, if you go a bit down to the other page, okay, here to the outline, perfect. So you see that, of course, we are giving very basic information about AI. AI, okay, it's not started 3 years ago. There is a discussion about AI in education for 50 years, sorry. So it's a really long time, but we try to summarize. But what I wanted to highlight are the step 1 to 6. So what we wanted in our guide that we constructed together was really to reflect on why to apply. We are now pushed so much to apply AI to make a pedagogical user with big promises, but you have always to think to your specific context, I think, to really understand. So the guide provides a toolkit with Canvas for a group exercise. So maybe in your institute, you may really consider to have a reflection, identify one or two, for example, objective, and try to make it the best use, an ethical use of AI in that context. Sorry, I wanted just to take a moment also to introduce this, which is quite smart and new.
Thank you very much. If we don't have already questions now, we can collect them also to reply to them after the next session. I would like to start thanking Kurt for his participation. This is not the first time that we cooperate. We organized a study visit to Denmark for members of DIGI ENE this year, and we had the pleasure to visit EdTech Denmark. It was really enlightening opportunity. All the participants were really grateful for what they learned there. We had a number of presentations. One of these was on the chat tutor functionality. And we asked Kurt if he could actually contribute also to this webinar because we really found it groundbreaking. I mean, this is actually the direction we all need to go. But one thing is to say it, one thing is to actually implement something. So we were really curious to have a presentation from this side on chat tutor. And thank him again for his participation. I'll pass the floor to him.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Filippo. And nice to see you, some of you, again. Here I'm sitting not at in Copenhagen. I'm sitting outside Copenhagen today at the DTU, which is the Danish Technical University, which actually this application has been founded from. So that's given a lot of sense, I think, and very much aligned to what we just heard about how to build digital competences for teachers and keep the teacher and the student in the learning loop. That is the vision of what we're going to present now. I also would like to thank you for taking this time. I know you're busy, so I think we need to actually give you something that is worthwhile. And so probably there is difference to why you adapt AI, but one of the reasons can be to actually offload some of the jobs that you have as a teacher, and that is something that is in this application. I will share my presentation and let me know if you are able to see my screen. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes, good. So let's start with this picture. We know definitely in Europe, most of the students use some sort of GPT, probably ChatGPT, in their studying, but there is some wrongdoing.
Sorry, Kurt, maybe if you can present
Slideshow?
it in slideshow, can be bigger for us. Thank you.
Yes, great. The problem with these AI models is that they can be wrong. They can be misused for learning, so the students actually don't learn. And we don't have human oversight, coming back to this issue about ethics. So the student will have their GPT sitting in front of the computer, as we all do right now, and giving them an answer. But where the teacher is in this, they are left in the dark, they're outside this learning loop. And that is not what we are used to, and that is not what we like to do. We like to have the teacher as a part of the learning activities. So that is one of the reasons built this tool, Chat Tutor. It's a spin-out from Danish Technical University, the leading university, according to a survey just recently revealed yesterday, leading engineering university in Europe. So I have a lot of knowledge on AI and what it can and what it doesn't, what it cannot do. And it's also based on research from Copenhagen University, another big university here in Denmark. And what we try to do is to make sure that the teacher always stay in the loop when the students use AI tools for learning. And students here is both students as you know them at institution, but there's also, we are looking into application now or going into another direction on the workforce. So working together with drone manufacturing, how to use this for standard operation procedure learning. So it's both students at institutions, but also when you are in a factory. And the technical solution to it is what's called a retrieval augmented generation, a RAG model, which is put in place in able to learn the curriculum. It's not only one AI solutions, there's more and you can choose. So it's agnostic to the learning language model that you use. So it can be ChatGPT, it can be Mistral, it can be others. And there's a privacy first principle to it. So none of these data is shared outside the institution that would like to use this application. And that's why it's stated that it's safe, it's ethical, and it's effective. We'll come back to why it's effective based on the research that have been done on chat tutor. As every chat solution AI, they are 24/7, of course, but this one integrates the students and the teacher in the learning loop. What is different to ChatGPT is based on the curriculum. So what students actually learn is from specific to curriculum. So the teacher will upload the curriculum to the application, and the chat tutor will only answer based on the curriculum. So it of course knows a lot about, that could be physics or chemistry and so on, from these large language model, but these answers are given specific to the curriculum that is uploaded by the teacher. So the teacher make sure that the students actually learn on the curriculum and not what's on the internet. Here's just one of the screenshots. So this is on some specifics in math. And you are able to see on the left side, this is the curriculum, 243 page long curriculum. And the students are able to read this, but then ask questions to the curriculum, ask question to chat tutor, and also ask a TA, which is the technical assistant. So we make sure that if the students are not aware of what the learning goals should be for this course, or in doubt of the answer given by the chat tutor, they can raise it to the teacher, and the teacher will be able to explain them. So that's one way of integrating the AI in these solutions. This solution, what you see right now, is then an old version with the curriculum on the left, the chat window in the middle, and then the historic other ask questions on the right side. There's a new version now where you are able as a teacher to actually develop your own AI agents. So you can customize your own agent, you can personalize it. So in the way that you would like to teach, that can actually be implemented, and not only what ChatGPT or other have envisioned learning to be. We think that is an important part of developing didactical approaches in this AI world. The RAG model, just to make sure if you're not acquainted with that model, is that, as I said, stated here in the bottom, you have books, articles, slides, notes. That is your learning content. Then that will be uploaded to a specific knowledge base. That's the server side. And then you will use a smart search to actually search the specific knowledge base and not whatever is on the internet. And the question mark here is the student asking some questions, and then it will go into the knowledge base to retrieve, and that's why it's called retrieval, retrieve an answer, and then based on the knowledge base, it will actually generate an output, an answer. That is the basic concept of this RAG model. You can use OpenAI, one can use other, so it can accommodate to the newest LLM models. And we can see some traction here because there are some models that have been quite good. ChatGPT 4.5 has, for instance, been quite good. The newest model is better in STEM education, according to some of the benchmarks that have been developed. So it can also depend on your course or your subject, what large language model you would like to use for your course, because it can either be some large language model that is specific to your course or more open, and there you can choose whatever you like. Privacy and AI Act compliance is, of course, very important. So it has a minimum risk. It complies to the EU's AI Act. And there are no other sub-processes than you can see in the picture, and have a high ethical standards. There's no use of this data outside the application. So not used for advertising or learning the large language models based on the chat that the student provides. I think that is important. So back to how can this actually be better than many of the other AI solutions out there? There's many, and the students will use a couple of them. So this research from Copenhagen University by Guido Makansky, a professor in education psychology, he has made a large study, a survey with 15 different institutions where the students have learned the same and made a pre-test and a post-test and intervention using different kind of AI solutions. And based on this article by the Wow Factor, which has been published in a high impact journal, ChatTutor outperforms ChatGPT and regular teaching on the parameters of conceptual knowledge. The students will have a deeper conceptual knowledge. They trust the application more than ChatGPT. They have more enjoyment in using it, and the behavioral attention to reuse this application is higher than ChatGPT. And this is not because ChatGPT is a better or a worse technical solution. It's because we build a didactical frame on top of it. So the value on this is that it has been didactical and forced some principles on some of the principles that you just heard before, able to scaffold the learning in a better way. You need to have different kind of learning theory in it, and you can build your own AI agent so they are more prone to didactical use than just giving the answer. And that is why ChatTutor outperforms ChatGPT and regular teaching. We think it's very much important to have teacher in the loop. So the teacher can see the chats. They have a learning dashboard, so they can see what struggles the student have in different kind of chapters. They can make a visualization of it. They can look for outliners for the students to identify those and help them. We also have AI agent here from actually where I'm sitting right now from DTU Entrepreneurship, Professor Karina Lombard. She is looking into students with neurodivergent capabilities. So that can be like HDHC. They learn in a different way, and we need to make sure that we can cater for these students as well. And that is research that she has built and that's put into ChatTutor as an AI agent. And it allows the
Sorry, Kurt, sorry for interrupting.
yeah,
We in the slides we see, I don't know why, two blocks, two gray blocks,
okay.
dark gray blocks. So some of the pictures are not visible.
Thank
Um,
you. I switched to another slide. Are you able to see this
no,
complex?
it's in every slide.
It's in every slide. Okay.
So I don't know. Of course, we are following your presentation, but for some slides, maybe I
There
don't
is
know if you
no,
see them or you don't see them. I don't know which kind of.
I try to stop sharing here.
And maybe
So
try again, yes. And
yes,
maybe you can share it again. I don't know what happened.
yes.
Otherwise, in
Um,
any case, if they persist, we will. If you agree, of
yeah,
course, we can share the slides
you can
with
share it afterwards. Yes.
afterwards. Yes.
Yes, you're probably not able to see the slides. I tried to put them up again, but if you're not able,
We see the
Oh,
slides,
we
but
do see the
we
slides. Just two areas
okay,
where it's gray,
yeah,
two squares. But
no
in general, we
problem.
can see it.
You
Hence,
can
in
keep
any
on.
case,
Thank
we
you.
will share the slides
afterwards,
after
yeah.
the webinar.
But I can pause here and stop sharing and talk and take questions.
No, you can. I
No,
think you
please
can go
continue.
on
Please
with the
continue.
slides.
Okay, yeah, okay,
Yes. Because
we'll do that.
we there is only a small part of it that we are not able to see.
Okay, good.
So
I'll try to
you
explain
can
as
go with the slides because it was useful for sure.
yeah, good. Um, so what we try to do is to take this research from Guido Makansky to look into how we can actually integrate AI. And I think it requires that the teacher to have the digital skills, and that is a part of the change management behind it. So working very closely with institutions in order to fit into the didactical setting that is at the specific institutions and for the specific teacher. I think that is one way we can see it. We can also see that this is a learning setting that is not that common in Denmark, but maybe in Italy. In Denmark, for instance, we have more study groups, so students working together And one of the AI agents that we test right now is that to integrate AI in study groups, because we know that the students, when sitting in study groups, there's a very good way of learning, but sometimes they get sidetracked, and having an AI agent actually to scaffold the study group work can be quite effectively. And there's a research now in pre-publication that show that actually is possible with this application. This is something still in work in progress, but the first initial results is that it's more effective with the chat tutor because it has a didactical setting than just ChatGPT having that on the side. Because some of the students tend to use ChatGPT only to provide them with some answers. This is actually able to scaffold the learning process also when they sit in groups. And the test has been with students of group of three. So they sit one in front of the computer and the two on the side, and the AI agent scaffolding and helping the study groups. So to sum up, so what we have found is that with this application from Danish Technical University, we make sure that the teacher is in the loop, can keep control and ensure quality of the learning activities. It protects the didactical AIs as a co-pilot and not a replacer of the teacher. It can have the classmates in loop in study groups and giving authentic collaboration and feedback to either one-on-one students or in groups. And that can also offload some of the burdens that the teacher have to support study group because that can be time consuming. It respects privacy and compliance. You will always be in control. And it scales in regard to feedback. So it's always possible to give feedback. And that is, we know as a teacher, that is actually hard if you have large classes to give them feedback each on the individual level or in the group setting. That can be quite burdensome. And we have an AI, an LLM agnostic approach. So you can choose the LLM that you like. And we have an approach to go to institutions and attract students and partners. We can see that actually using new technology can actually attract students as well and partners within the workplace learning. So if you like to test this out, there's some contact details here on the founder, Marius Kortsen. I'm happy to set up a course, and that can be that you provide maybe some material and one can upload it, and you can see by yourself how that actually plays out in this application. We have found right now that we're working with the different countries. There is different didactical settings and history in how we approach AI and how we integrate it. So I think that is why the AI agent that you are able to provide yourself and write yourself is important. So it fits to the learning needs and the history and the didactical approach that you have. But here is the details, and now maybe we can open up for question, and I can stop sharing.
Thank you very much, Kurt. That was very, very interesting. Thanks also for the opportunity that you've opened of cooperation. It is as you just said, every educational context is different due to country traditions or structure. So we need to pilot to understand how to make it work. What is the added value? Where is the biggest added value? How teachers interact with it and how they react with it. So the piloting it's essential. So for those institutions that would be interesting, they could think of start working with this type of innovative chatbots. I'll start with a question. Of course, it's open for everybody, so you can put them in the chat or raise your hand. The first one is on teachers, because especially like talking from Italy, sometimes the reaction from teachers is positive. Like say, we do appreciate these new opportunities provided by digital means and tools. We just add up to our workload. So the reaction is not that we don't like to do it, it's that if I do it, I mean, that's on top of what I have already to do. So what was your experience in the institution that you have worked with? How did teacher actually react to it?
Yeah. So I think the best and evidence-based learning we have is from Copenhagen universities. They're working very closely with their teacher in different subjects, most of them in STEM education. It takes off many students, or some of our students, towards many students, like to ask questions, us also outside the classroom, to write an email or to phone, and that can be quite burdensome for teachers. Some like to take questions outside, but someone will also like to gather all these questions for the next session. And what we found is that the students can have that kind of interaction with chat tutor, having not burdened the teacher, and the teacher have this learning dashboard that can actually see what are the questions that the students ask, what are they struggling with, and then take that learning and present that in front of the class for the next time. So, okay, these are the questions. We have this chapter 4. I can see that you have worked with these questions. These are the correct approaches. That has been something that the teacher can offload to make sure that I don't use my Sunday or my Friday to answer a lot of questions, but still be available, and ChatTutor will provide you with some of the answers. So I think that is something that offload the teachers to able to look into what are the students actually asking. That is not possible with ChatGPT because there is a one-on-one communication. So having that insight and bring that in front of the class for the next class, that is something that offloads the teachers.
That's good. When you talk about creating a closed environment, so not to have the system accessing the whole internet knowledge, but creating a closed, so you filter, I mean, you just put content that you trust. Do you do it at the context of a school, or you do it for the whole country? Let's say we create an environment on math, part of math, and we make this available to all schools, or you work school by school?
It's usually school by school and actually teacher by teacher. So if you have a teacher teaching math, for instance, here at DTU, there is different classes teaching the same subject, but within or the same math, but in different in mechanic or a quantum mechanics, and they tend to use different kind of curriculum. So you have your own class, you upload your curriculum that's specific to what you're going to teach. But of course, you can have something that goes across. And these AI agents that is developed, they are able to be provided across institutions. You can share them. And we have seen some quite valuable AI agent provided by the business school here from Sine Sandberg, another professor, that is very good at statistics. So that can be shared across institutions.
Okay, very interesting. There's a comment from Virginia Spinoza. I just read it, but if you want to elaborate, of course you can. Say, shouldn't we provide students with information about different multimodal applications so they could see that there is life beyond ChatGPT? Virginia,
Yeah.
do you want to elaborate? Otherwise,
Maybe one question only. I'm Emil.
yep, Emil. So you can.
Only one question. Do you have ability to verify reply which you will get from ChatGPT or any artificial intelligence? In that case, you don't have only direct communication among students and teacher. You have ability to validate the reply which you will get with the AI system. And do you use that kind of combination, or you are trying to reply, or teacher will reply on some of these questions according to subject which he provide or explain?
So the basic concept of chat tutor is that the student, or sorry, the teacher uploads the material and the curriculum, and chat tutor will give an answer based on that. So it will highlight, this is actually from chapter 4 in the book, and that is how the student can see this is basic on based on the curriculum, and this is the correct answer. If it's not a link to the curriculum, and you can see in where paragraph it is, then it's based on the large language model basic knowledge. So it gives a quite distinct information to the students and teachers. This is based on the curriculum, this answer, or answer is not based on the curriculum, is common knowledge, so to speak. I think this is important because where you see from ChatGPT, they will provide you with an answer, but you're not sure what is it, why is it coming up with this answer? And that had to some extent go with this notion of the hallucinations in LLMs.
Thanks a lot for your reply. I think about a wider overview of some of these topics, and that was something what I mentioned. In some cases, you have a short review of some topics. In some cases, you have larger overview, and is dependent of time and opportunity to explain some of these students. Only that I want to ask. Thanks a lot for your reply.
Okay, thanks, Emil. We are a bit tight on time. I would like to thanks Kurt again for his participation.
There was, sorry, Filippo, there was an explanation by Virginia
Okay.
about her question. So she was mentioning that I think that she wanted to know if beside ChatGPT there are other possible use of apps, and I think Chat Tutor was one of these examples. So. And we all think that giving the chance to elaborate and not only getting an answer that could be sometimes true or false, having the possibility of elaborating and finding the solution thanks to the artificial intelligence is the great added value of this app. I don't know, Kurt, if you wanted to add something about it.
Yeah, I think that there's many great application out there. I think what we lack to see is this teacher in the loop. I think that is something that is quite unique to ChatTutor to make sure that the teachers are here in the loop, but it can be other tools as well. But this ensures that I don't think ChatTutor or other AI solutions should replace the teacher. I don't think that's the right approach. I think there is many things that learning is a social activity, but we can use AI to enhance learning activities, and that is, I think, the attraction here and the direction.
Okay, thank you very much, Kurt. I think it's the last aspect we would like to underline is a big challenge. I mean, EdTech Denmark has this specific role of never stopping researching, because this is not a topic where, okay, I develop ChatTutor and I've done for next 10 years, I'm fine, then in 10 years I will work again. It's a continuous effort to continue understanding the potentiality of AI in education, the risk. So one of the big challenges is starting using some models that you can pick up from other countries, like that ChatTutor is excellent, but countries and institutions should reflect on how to maintain this level of attention to future development. So that's the biggest challenge. It's an ever evolving. It's not like before. It's like every 20 years there's a new thing. It's basically every 6 months. So this is the biggest challenge in Denmark. This organization is in the lead. In other countries, there are other institutions, but I think this is where the biggest challenges for everybody is. Now, I pass the floor to Roberto for the facilitation of the next session, and that's all. Robbie.
Thank you, Filippo. Thank you, Kurt, for your contribution. And well, once again, as Filippo was saying, since the beginning, in the last month, we were working with the DIGI ENE group because one of the purpose of this year activity was the participation at the Forum for Vocational Excellence that took place in Kolding in the first week of September, Kolding in Denmark. So that's why we organized together with a group of 12, 14 DIGI ENE members some peer learning activities. So we met online several times. We built together some content to present during the forum. I don't know if you are aware about how this forum is done. Is targeting COVs, so Center of Vocational Excellence, in all Europe, and there were more or less 400 people or a bit less participating, and it was a great opportunity for us to participate during the plenary sessions, during the workshop, but also at the study visit that were organized in different places around Kolding and in Denmark. So together with this DIGI ENE group, we created our content, and in one of the forum days we organized a workshop that was dedicated with 5 participants who told about their practices and their example belonging to their institution. So there were 2 examples from Turkey, one from Bosnia and Herzegovina, one from Serbia, and one from Morocco. You can find all this information, and you can find all the activities from this year in our open space webpage, and including, of course, the content. Today we would like to present part of this content, but we would like to do it in a kind of roundtable format, so with some questions and answer, and asking directly some of the participants how they dealt with their challenge, and how they solved this challenge, which kind of solution they were trying to find, which action and which possible recommendations and suggestions they have for the future, and for other institutions that would like to do the same. And I would start with our participants from Edin Skalic from Fab Lab, and I would like to ask him which kind of challenge his Fab Lab was asked to respond and to answer.
Yes, hi. Thank you, Roberto. This is not to repeat and lose the time. I guess let people can read about us, but we are usually facing and transferring the knowledge from the higher education, from internships and apprenticeships. The way how we approach usually is using the bottom-up approach, which means that we usually test all the solutions and see how we're gonna actually propagate, because we come from the product development background, which means it's very complex environment how the individuals need to think. We also and critical thinking added inside, and adding all the methodologies that goes along how you develop very complex products. So we have very structured process. How does this works? In the context of introducing the AI solutions or any advanced technologies like VR, XR, and the 3D printing, it's actually getting blended in this approach, what we are getting. So usually we start with giving the problem and the challenge to vet students or the apprenticeships or internships students, which is some basically to construct various products. And then with this approach, we actually test their ability how to adapt to the new skills, using new solutions, new technologies, and how their thinking is actually to solve problem solving is good or not. So in the context of all the previous AI topics that we just mentioned and the future work, we always have the good examples about it. So we recently started experimenting in the deploying large language models, LLMs, together with the 3D modeling, Blender tools, or AutoCADs. So basically, students would be like talking to the LLM, and the LLM would try to actually kind of draw the final solutions. And this has been a nightmare forever, and this was not doing very well. So most of our experience came from the in these problems. We had developed a platform that is a challenge-based platform. So we actually created a digital task that industry or third parties can drop the requested problems to a platform. The platform gets then introduced to administrative team, which is usually teachers and professionals who dissolve the tasks into the structural way. So we have a little bit of the training. It's all online modules, 1-2 minutes, usually YouTube content or video content, together with all the exams in various forms. Then they would proceed to the phase two, which is collecting their ideas about the challenges. It's usually group work now. We're talking about the team because we're trying to develop the team effort. And each member is actually it's separately monitored through the process. So we don't do like collective answers. It's each team member has to during the engagement phase has to go through all the trainings and essential learnings in order to solve the issue. So during the investigative phase, they actually experiment. They try to work together and produce the solutions. So once they do produce the solutions, they actually upload the solutions to the platform. Platform then gets to the next phase where we use um, real people, real judgments, real juries that actually also input the quality of their work. And this is basically the platform that we tested with the 270 students this year. It works very well. It's very interesting. We completed a little bit of gamification. It's already done and developed on web mobile interfaces. So, because we realized that most of the students do not use the computers for their daily use. So it's usually cell phones. And then we actually wanted to approach them with this new way, and I think it worked. So everybody liked it. We had a lot of success stories. Even the potential industry clients were very satisfied with such approach. It's done along a week or 2 week periods. It can be stretched to longer durations. So it was an experience for us, and we realized that obviously the digital and future AI tools that will be implemented in the platform would definitely benefit about something like this.
Thank you very much, Edin. Thank you very much. Of course, if there are some questions and any kind of information that you would like, I'm addressing participants now. Of course, feel free to raise your hand, to write in chat, to say something. And we also have here the director of the College of Applied Studies Aviation Academy in Belgrade, in Serbia, Republic of Serbia, Daniela Manic. And I would also ask Daniela to recap, summarize which kind of challenges they have in their institution and which kind of actions they were working with in order to solve this issue. And I will also to remind that when we were creating this workshop, this interlinked content, we were mainly thinking about three main key areas. And the first area was related to the creation of vision and coordination. So it was a more strategic one, whereas the second was more about the development of content and curricula, and finally about the insurance of digital competencies of educators and students. We are here talking about more content and curriculum. Of course, all these areas are very much interacting one to the other. Daniela, the floor is yours.
Hi, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sure.
Okay, thank you and hello everyone. I'm really pleased and honored to join today this webinar. I would just start with a quote, but don't mind, I can't remember who said that and at what event, because there are a lot of events related to digital issues in our countries, but Kurt reminds me of one sentence that I recently heard. Don't be afraid of using AI, but be afraid of replacing by teachers who is familiar or who is skilled with AI in teaching practice. So if I may say, there are so fast happening and improvements in our teaching practice and in terms of using AI into developing content and curriculum. But I would highlight a few which are related to our past period in my school and in my country as well. So the first challenge that we faced, it was the lack of institutional digital readiness and consistency. And it was, I don't know, something like 5-6 years ago when we realized that this is what we lack mostly. And then COVID happened to all of us. So it was a turning point when we had to move everything online. And this is where we see the gaps between infrastructure, which was not prepared, and teachers which are not equally, which do not have equal digital literacy. So teaching practices varied widely. I may say that there were very innovative and digitally enriched lessons, but also very traditional ones. And there are still traditional ones lessons, and some teachers are not ready even nowadays to face those challenges and to use AI. So I think the inconsistency still exists in between among all those teachers. But what was the key issues that we dealt with and that we need to face? It was first to make institutional digital strategy and to make all teachers to stay focused onto it and to do their best in order to keep pace with digital improvements. Of course, we started using and we still use in our higher education institution Moodle as our learning management system. We use it for lessons, for sharing resources, for even assignments, for keeping tracks and records of students' presents and their activities. So it helps a lot of us. And also we switched to choose Microsoft Teams and Outlook for our communication channels because we wanted to reduce confusion and to ensure accountability. Also, we introduced form scanner and Atlas macros like automation in testing and grading, which proved as very useful and very helpful. So there also were a lot of AI integration like Ego AI, which supported language learning and practice in our teaching daily practice and lessons, Turbo Scribes, Kahoot, quizzes, etc., etc. And at the end, we were we had to decide to invest a lot in infrastructure upgrades. So nowadays we have classrooms that are equipped with projectors, smart boards, reliable connectivity, So all of this ensured equal opportunities for all learners, no matter which class or teachers they had. But what we learned so far, there are several important lessons. First, consistency matters in every aspect of education, not only in this one, but let's highlight this digital education. So when everyone works with the same set of platforms and tools, students feel less lost and more supported. Another problem that we had to face is continuous training, which was very essential. So not only one-time workshops, whatever platform or whatever tool you use, the continuous training is very important and very vital. Platform unification is also a key. AI also should be used wisely, but it's easier to say than to do. And always to bear in our mind that teacher will never be replaced by AI, but what I said at the beginning, just be afraid, or maybe it's a strong word, just be cautious that there might be teachers who are more effective and more familiar with AI. And this is what we need to bear in our mind when thinking of our improvement. And finally, innovation thrives in a cultural sharing. So when teachers, and this is what ETF works with all those initiatives, when teachers share good practices with peers, when they see how colleagues solve problems, how adoption becomes, in that way, adoption becomes much faster. So peer-to-peer learning is, in fact, one of the most effective forms of professional development. So to sum up, there are a few recommendations from our experience. It is very needed to make a clear institutional strategy in terms of digital literacy, and of course for the purpose of teachers' confidence and students as well when using new platforms, new tools. Also, blended learning model is very needed because it makes a balance between traditional teaching and digital innovation. What I have to highlight, because I'm a director of college, but I have to put myself into the shoes of a teachers. We should think of avoiding platform overload. So choose a limited number of integrated tools and commit to them. Managers and teachers among themselves should encourage experimentation and innovation, but we always have to keep a feedback loop open. So to listen to each other and also to measure the progress. So because digital transformation is not about having the latest gadgets, the latest tool, the improved ChatGPT, but we need to improve our learning outcomes and to prepare students for digital world of work, which is the case in my college, but also the case in Serbia as well. So actually, if you have any other questions regarding my impressions and my challenges, feel free to ask.
Thank you, Daniela. I take the opportunity that you were listing these interesting suggestions, recommendations for other centers to ask Edin as well if he has some lessons learned that he would like to share with us. Maybe there is a problem with Edin because he doesn't see us anymore. Of course, if you have any questions for both Edin and Daniela about their presentations and their examples, feel free to do it. I'm reading in the chat.
There is a request from Osama, but I think it is really a request of how we could actually use the chat tutor in his own institution. And I think the easiest thing, if you can contact him directly, Kurt, there's in the chat you can find the email, because I think he can provide you with some insights of what are the steps necessary to start using it. So
Happy
please
to
feel
provide
free
that. Yeah.
to contact Kurt, and from there you might start a cooperation. Edin, you are back.
Yes, I had an interruption on connection. So,
No, just wanted to ask you if you have some lessons learned from your experience that you would like to share with the others, something that you recommend to do, or something that you wouldn't recommend to do,
as far as for the AI using tools, or
in general regarding the practice that you just presented to us.
yes. Well, yes. I mean, we will be heading, toward a period where all the students are using heavily AI. So the way what we discovered in the conceptual platform, because their approach to with the various things. So they have exams in the form of answers, ABCs, listening to YouTube videos. We monitor basically how much each one person is actually consuming the content, and then the providing the solutions is actually critical one, because you start doing the critical thinking immediately in their side. So they need to produce something. So they start learning by constructing the solutions. It is something that AI is not capable to do very well. So we are using it daily in our research work and throughout various fields. But it's mostly not capable. Students are not capable to use the AI at that moment. They can try to do it in little things that are actually part of this process that is design thinking. So and solution oriented. So we see actually the satisfaction to the students when they're using the AI tools, because they cannot produce good quality results. Thing is the AI would probably produce in the same manner. We actually were testing it that if the 10 teams ask the same questions, they're probably going to get 80% same results in the specific solution that needed to be produced, because there's no many. You cannot produce like 1,000 solutions. It's not like you asking it how's your day and then you can get million answers. If you are asking how to create a stool that has only two legs and somehow do be standing, then you only can possibly think about several solutions. So you immediately see that the usage of the AI tools, it's not the problem of the usage of AI tools, but they cannot use it in a critical thinking and the way how to develop the product completely, full solution on the end. So we think approach that is tailored toward this kind of methodology is beneficial to the students. We frequently host the K2 students and the other, we had just recently had the students from Italy, and we can see the differences between the students from the local countries, Balkan countries, of the system, and how they use and they approach tools, and it's differently. So it's not the same throughout the world, but they differently using the tools to solve either pieces of the puzzle, so trying to get a full solution. So we think using AI in approaches to solve the little pieces or just the gears of the solution is fine. But then in complex tasks, obviously not everything can be set as a complex as in engineering, but maybe this methodology can be applied to other sectors also.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Edin. Thank you both. Thank you, Daniela. You gave us a little bit of idea of our workshop that we had 2 months ago, and I hope it was helpful for everybody, for all the participants. I'm happy to see that we are still 43 here, so it's a good sign of interest. I was reflecting about the possibility of trying to unify as much as possible all the platforms that are available. I agree. I fully agree with you, Daniela. That would be really an asset. But on the other hand, I see it more and more difficult actually, because we are surrounded by even beautiful, wonderful, very helpful platform, but that go with different directions and with different, of course, ownership, and it's so hard to put them together. So just to make an example, we are here in Zoom, but in the meantime, I can use Slido for a survey and ChatGPT to create some artificial intelligence input and so on. So there are so many, they are so helpful for the teachers and for education in general. But trying to governing all these platform in at the same time would be very hard, especially for teachers who have also the burden of the curriculum to develop and the lectures and so on. But yeah, this is a big issue that we can solve in 5 minutes, but maybe some food for thought for the future. Okay. So thank you very much. I see Kurt is providing a link on this interesting article about chat tutor and AI. So I would give the floor to Filippo if you want for the last conclusions, or of course if there
Well,
are
more than
questions
conclusion, I would like to take the opportunity to thank you everybody today for the participation, but also to thank all the members of DIGI ENE, the colleagues from STEPS and colleagues from ETF who work on this topic, on this sub-initiative over the last 3 years, 4 years. It's my last year. I mean, I still work for the ETF, but not work on ENE anymore. So just to say that it has been an incredibly enriching opportunity. I will still be partially linked to the area of digitalization, but I won't have real time dedicated. But the dream team of Roberto, Marta, Yolin, and Loretta will still be part of working on ENE. Alessandro will keep on working on digital and AI. So don't worry, you will still be well served. And I thank you very much again. And I thanks Kurt, of course, for his participation. And I wish you a nice continuation of the day.
Thank you very much for your participation. Thank you, Filippo. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you also. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.